All right. The meeting of the Water Commissioners is called to order at 6 o'clock, July 21st. President Dave Meswar, Commissioner.
John Kane, Commissioner.
Randy Brown.
Here. Kevin Soper.
Kevin Soper. Yeah. Okay. Public. No public comment. Seeing none, move. Review of the minutes is tabled until next month. Elderly rate. We have 2 elderly rate. They meet all the criteria. Motion.
Second. I'll make a motion to accept both as they meet all the requirements.
I second. All in favor?
John Kane, aye.
Dave Meswar, aye. Okay, DPW Director's report.
Okay, few things to talk about. First item is a update on water use restrictions. Not really an update. We've been in restrictions since May 31st, and that continues through today. The only thing to note is that on July 12th, the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs Secretary declared our region to be in a level 2 drought, which is an increase from a level 1 drought that was previously determined. So from a permitting standpoint, going from a level 1 to a level 2 doesn't change all that much. We still have to abide by the restrictions, just maybe increase the awareness of it. Item 2, we did have DEP inspect our new chlorination system for well 1. That happened on July 12th. DEP was happy with what they saw, so we know how that service system in service. Item 3 is an update on our water withdrawal permit with Mass DEP. I think at the last meeting I mentioned that they had staff from the Boston office that was going to start the review process. I haven't had any update from Mass DEP since that discussion, which is about 6 weeks ago. So I do not know where that stands as of today, other than they are going to work on it. Shut off process has started. We sent demands to all the users that have not paid their bills, and then this week we started with the shut off process. Kevin and his guys were going out, and they first put door knockers on, picking about 20 or so a day. And if those folks don't pay by 10 a.m. the next day, that service doesn't get shut off. So I think in your packet, there's a list of properties that have been shut off as of today. And we still have maybe, I don't know, a few days. Actually, Monday might be the last day, right? Probably one more day of shut offs for that process. Number 5 is a carryover, 55 Sam West Road. No action from that property owner yet to replace that water service. And then item 6, Emil from Signal Water has done a handful of backflow inspections over the past few weeks. That's all I have. The next page does list those that were given warnings and violation notices for not abiding by the water restrictions. The next 2 pages show that list. And then the next page after that is a work order summary since our last meeting. That's all I have.
Okay. Appointments. We don't have any appointments, right? We're gonna deal with the business. Full business, 257A, Eating Hills Road, appoint abate.
So we had met with Calabrese family a 2 meetings ago. And at that time, there was a very sizable water leak. They asked for an abatement for that leak. That abatement form was in your packet. At the last 2 meetings ago, we discussed this. At that time, the leak was not fixed. So the board asked reconvene and revisit this at the July meeting. Hopefully at a time when that was addressed. See Mike's here, if he can give some input, but it seems like that it has been now fixed as of maybe 2 days ago. I know he was, he maybe explained what you were doing over the past couple.
For the first probably 6 weeks since after I left here, I was chasing the wrong water leak. There's two mains, one's a 3/4 and the other is an 1.5 inches. And the way I understood it, going back and forth with you guys kept like said to check the meter. So I kept checking the meter and the 1.5 inch one is the only one with numbers on it. So I assumed that was the one because I kept checking the numbers, seeing it was going overnight, shutting that off. I even probably spent $1,200 putting a new water line in from that meter. And then after I chased it for about 6 weeks, you guys said it was still leaking. And that's when I talked to somebody at the water department over there and he said, he showed me that it was a 3/4 inch line. So after that, I changed about 20 valves because that was the only thing I thought was leaking. So I mean, I kept changing them periodically, coming back and checking to see if that was fixed. And I finally isolated it down about, I don't know, maybe like a month ago when I got it from 300 down to 30 gallons an hour. And I thought that was it. And then I finally got it completely down. I just bypassed the whole other line. I ran a whole other water line like a week ago. And now he said it's down to 0. So I mean, there's got to, I mean, I have over 100 water lines. That's it. So it was a process. And I mean, now's the busy time of the season too. So it's kind of, so I like nighttime and weekends, I was just trying to do what I could. But I did correct it now. And the thing is, that line only feeds the house on the property and my shop. So 300 gallons is a lot of water to be losing for 2 buildings. That one doesn't even feed the greenhouses. That one only or actually it feeds the barracks too, where we house our workers. So I mean, that only feeds 3 buildings. So there's never any irrigation or anything done with that water or anything. It's just shop. They'd be filling a sprayer every now and then, or in toilets and showers. So I mean, I did solve the problem.
Okay, so
It must have been a problem.
it's not leaking anymore, which is probably most.
Look, I mean, I wasted a lot of time chasing the wrong valve. That was the biggest thing. Because the other one is a 3/4 inch line and it doesn't have any numbers on it. So there's no way for me to be like, I assumed like when you guys were talking, like I could watch, like you guys told me to watch, check the numbers and stuff. And that was the only one with the numbers on it. And the other one you can't do anything but go down and talk to Randy and see the overnight on the numbers.
It's a cover on the top, doesn't it?
On that green and white thing? Oh, they do have it there.
The digital screen.
Well, I don't work for the water department.
That's why I don't either.
But the original one I did change, that was leaking too. So I did solve a little problem on that one.
It sounded like there was more than one.
There was,
He went from 330 by 1 inches issue, and then you went from 30 to 0.
it was actually leaking under 2 buildings. I don't know how it got so bad as it was, but yeah, I solved the both. And right now that big leak, the main leak was under about 50 by 100 foot concrete pad where the original 300 gallon leak was. So that's why I never noticed it. It must have just been leaching into the pond or through the sand. So nothing ever popped up. But I mean, otherwise, I mean, I didn't use any of the water. That's the thing. It was a lot of waste. Yeah, that's why we're looking to abate. I mean, even anything you guys can do to help. Because I mean, it is solved now, so I mean,
I think the last couple charts, some charts here showing the last page here. See, it is done. I mean, it seems like the last 2 days it has been addressed.
the thing too was like I spent the week too because after it was done, they were like this is like 3 weeks ago. I couldn't understand why it was still losing 30 gallons after I fixed everything. But I mean, there must have been a smaller leak, and I assumed that 30 gallon leak was a valve leaking somewhere. So like I said, I probably spent $2,500 chasing all these problems. I replaced over 20 valves, trying to find that last 30 because I mean, that could have been a leaky valve somewhere.
All right, so I guess. How much of the water was waste and how much of it was,
I would honestly, I'd say about 75% of it, if not more. Easily. Because the last 2 days that you have, that's the normal usage. Especially in the winter, because, and that's only a shop and a house. So the only time the water really spikes in the shop is when we
Yeah.
fill up sprayer, and that's only like 100 gallons. And I mean, that's maybe one, even if you're not even, maybe once a day at the most.
yeah, that's huge. Oh, what do you think?
I mean, I'm even willing.
My calculation went back to 2017. Early 2018 before this erupted, which is where my requested number came from. What it would normally be.
Well, I mean, you can't go back 5 years to see. what the
No,
number
that's
would be.
really
But-
far back. I mean, I'm even willing to split it with you guys, just to. I mean, like I said, any bit helps.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I should even chime in here, because I have a soft spot.
Well, it's an $8,000 bill that, of course, we wouldn't pay voluntarily, just to donate to the town.
Yeah.
It's wrong. We didn't know it was wrong. For a number of factors, not,
I mean, that's the thermometer, nothing popped up. I mean, if anything popped up within the last 2 years, I would have fixed it right away. I mean, that's the biggest thing. There's just no way to even know.
What was the total usage in June?
This June.
Yeah,
Or
Is that
maybe
right?
Christie can pull it up. I don't think that may not be in the packet here.
I think that would give us, compare that, just compare that from June to May. Like, what's the difference? That's gonna give us a big,
Because I think June still had a lot of 30 hours,
said
but
that 30
that's,
hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem was the 300. I mean, that's 90% of the water it costs.
it was more than greenhouses.
What?
So
I think
I
that
have
was more than greenhouses.
Yeah.
32,308 counts
For the month of June.
for June.
When did the 300 stop and turn to 30? You know, when that, the thing was on that?
That was the May,
It was, yeah, because I mean, that was,
the end of May, we had a meeting.
So in June, as of June 1st, it was still it was just 30 gallons
okay,
overnight.
so there was no 300 gallon leak in the month of June, okay.
where's the. actual bill? Yeah, the $7,800 bill is the abatement bill. That's what we're, I think that's. what we-
Yeah, the bill amount,
The abatement's 7,059.
the request is for that, much, yeah. If you look
Should
at
be
their,
the first bill after
The
the.
bill is 7881.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the original request. That makes that bill at $800.
That's what I mean, from 8 to 8,000. That's like I said, it's about 90% of the water we weren't using, it's about 90% difference. So we were actually only probably using maybe 10% of that water that we got those for.
So you're thinking this, you think this leak started like the end of
It had to,
2020 or beginning of?
it had to be leaking for at least 2-3 years at least.
Right.
And steadily,
2019.
because it started out as 100 gallons and then it worked its way to 2. And the only reason it got so noticeable is because it was the 300 gallons a day or what, an hour or whatever it was. And then the bill spiked so much.
Yeah.
And like I said, the thing is too, is our bookkeeper died. And that was the other thing too, so we didn't, they were going through a transition phase there, maybe she didn't notice the bill, or maybe she just paid it towards the end there, so.
Yeah, I can see that they would just pay, okay, so water bill, pay the water bill.
But I mean, once it got to an astronomical amount, that was like, whoa, even when
It's
using,
doubling every billing cycle.
yeah,
Yeah,
because even
getting worse.
the grading machine that we use, that runs water all day long coming off the other valve, doesn't even equivalent, it's nowhere equivalent to
Or
that.
the washing tubs,
Yeah,
or the greenhouses.
that's what I mean, yeah, the actual usage.
So your actual usage from June was 30,000-ish,
32,380.
okay, and this is a 3-month cycle.
No,
Six.
No, 6 months now. What if we did 6 months at their current usage and then I don't know, 20% premium on top of it, and then the difference would have been, what would their bill be at 30,000 for 6 months? Or, I don't know, something.
Plus 20%.
Yeah, that's exactly that. And that would be the payment, whatever the difference would be.
And then we just subtract that from 78.
Yeah.
She was just quoting the store, that's why.
So that'd be 230,000 gallons, I did that right? So 32,000 times 6 months.
I did the total amount for June, so the 32,380. By 6 months, that's 194,280. And then. 20% of that is 38,826.
Oh, no, sorry, make it like 20% more.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was just.
Oh, okay, I
20%
got
of
you,
So
got
that
it's 230,
plus-
it's 233.
Your water bill's $4,000 in October, you have to pay.
Oh, yeah, that's-
I'll try to pull one out.
Things dry like this, it might be.
You can't tell your sister that bottles anymore.
Between the heat and the real rain, it's.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
Luckily, we got a couple of rainstorms there. We're
Yeah.
doing
Maybe a little bit more.
every bit else. Especially when it costs $6 a gallon to run the irrigation pump
That price would do.
fast.
It takes a lot of power to move water.
We're probably 250 gallons of diesel a day. We got all the pumps running. Yeah. Once the corn gets over $1 a year, people stop buying it.
Crazy. I think about that.
What's that stuff in the field?
Soybeans.
Is it soybeans?
Yeah,
I see a lot of that around everywhere now.
yeah, we're alternating the fields with it.
621307. Is that what you're doing?
Because they're good. They put nitrogen back in the soil too. So
Yeah.
I cheated, I already have.
hopefully out west, they have a disaster. So the price goes up.
Excuse me. It's all the same country, Michael.
I think commodities are gonna be at a premium.
I
no
agree.
Hey,
matter
no
what.
matter where, yeah.
It's not the same bank account.
Yes, I'm the same one.
I said, all I want to do is pay the bills to share,
Like a lot of people don't realize like Ukraine is like 50% of the commodities. Yeah,
Very fast for the world right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the best farmland in the country, the world right there. Yep.
$1,690.64
Is what it would be.
is what, yeah.
Would you get 16903?
169,064. the abatement would be $6,187.17 on the water portion.
Would you say that? A little bit louder?
$6,187.17.
Make a motion.
Yes, I'd make a motion to abate $6,187.17 from the original $1,881.81 for a total of Christie, 1,900.
That was just, so it's the water plus the.
The difference between what they'll actually have, what they would have had to pay if that were the bill.
Oh, it was the $7,881.81.
Yeah, minus 61.87. There was a number. What was it?
No, I think he
69.
was rattling off the number.
The number,
All right, we'll just redo it. All right, I'll make a motion to abate $6,187.17 from the original bill of $7,881.81.
And I second that. All in favor?
John Kane, I.
Dave Mesmore, aye.
You can use that.
It's easy without
Pick
all
the
the.
right.
I know, I was just saying for the, they had already paid the bill.
Okay, yeah. All right, let's get back to order.
So there's no sewer, right? So this is just a water only bill. So now you paid the bill already, right? So I guess we don't have to talk now, but we'll talk about whether you want to get a check or just have that credited to your next bill. $6,000. I don't know, they may want to
Refund it or
refund
when's the
it.
next one due?
Bill, next bill will go out
November.
in end of October.
That's what's due in November.
You want it now?
Might-
You wanna leave it on?
Might as well leave it on there.
Then we'll just apply it to the next.
Okay.
You don't-
You guys are irrigating on South Moyer now.
That's what I mean,
Yeah,
so it's
so I
gonna
mean, it's
be,
gonna get up there.
yeah,
Well,
So they're separate.
well, no.
Can we?
yeah.
can we-
That's gonna
I'll
go
talk-
down too.
I'll talk to the tax collector's
'Cause we're
office
gonna come back
tomorrow
for another
and
pay.
we can see once the bill comes out, we can be in contact with you guys and then you can decide from there how you like it applied.
okay,
All right, we'll do that.
cause like you said, we using the town water to water the squash and stuff in South Moyer, so.
It's been a few years since you've used that.
And that's,
Yeah.
yeah, that one can get a little high too, yeah.
You got a savings account.
Yeah, right.
Because that thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's a 2-inch line, yeah, that pumps.
At least we won't be picking the spot when it's done, then that part of it's done. Most of the whole season won't be the whole summer.
About 8 weeks,
And
so,
then, yeah,
That's
yeah,
yeah,
because it's the first and second planting and the third. So the first and second will probably be done in another couple of weeks,
Oh, really?
3 weeks, and then we'll go into the third and fourth planting right there.
the biggest problem,
Hopefully
is we
the rain
only,
in between.
Yeah, right.
yeah, we only have like one big sand filter, so we need that, when we pump water out of ponds.
Yeah.
To put it through the drip tape, so instead of moving it back and forth, that's why we use the town water on that, because it's super clean, so it
It's
doesn't
a pain-
clog.
it's also a pain to get into that.
Or
Is
moving
that
it,
was that big stainless steel?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
unless you'd have to move it around back and forth, or go spend another 15 grand on another one. So it's
Especially
just-
at 2 in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I was wondering what that was.
yeah,
Interesting.
the problem is the little inch drip lines, if you get sand in them,
Oh, yeah.
it blocks the little emitters,
Makes sense, yeah.
and then you're
absolutely.
just completely screwed, because there's nothing.
Yeah.
How do you
You
find
can't
that?
water underneath the plant anymore.
Yeah.
And like tomatoes and stuff, you can't water above the plant, because that spreads the disease. So you gotta water under the plastic and just get the roots. So.
That's what I've been doing. Wrong.
Absolutely. Especially now that the humidity's here too.
Giving away all the secrets for one.
Yeah.
We just lost a cousin because now he knows how to
Yeah.
quit.
Okay, so we can move on to the 9 Coyote Glen line.
All right.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for all your work.
Thank you,
Sounded
guys.
like it was a nightmare.
It was nonstop. It was a lot. Like I said, I changed over almost 25 valves. So,
All right.
but at least we got it fixed.
We've
It's all
been
that
around
matters.
25 years now.
The
Right.
problem was whoever did it 30, 50 years ago didn't make a map. You know, and they spent a lot of time digging, trying to find the line.
But did you?
No. I know. where it is.
That would have been his man.
That's the next guy's problem.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you all.
You're welcome.
So to
Alright.
have like concrete numbers that you can go off of, you know, so that if anyone, you know, when things come back, right, say,
Yeah.
oh, this is how we. came
Got
to
how
that
we got
conclusion."
there. It is close to how I got there.
Yeah.
So. Give or take. 100,000.
Okay, so now we're working on 9 Coyote Lane.
Yeah, 9 Coyote Glen. So, earlier we talked about the list of fines and violations that were sent out. So 9 Coyote Glen was on that list. They got the first letter was a warning. Letting them know that they had violated the water restrictions. And I gave them the packet that we have available on the website, which explains the kind of the who, what, when, where, and why of our water restrictions. So they got the warning, they acknowledged that, and then they thought, I don't want to speak for them, they're not here, but they did send it, I had something in writing, so that is in your packet. But for what they have said, so told to me, was that they thought they had fixed it, but they did not. So there was another violation, a couple dates actually, on 6/22, 24, and 25. So because of that, they were sent a ticket on 6/29 for $50. So they are asking to have that waived. And you should probably read what they wrote. in the ticket.
More than one.
I think there's one. in there.
Are they here? They didn't inform.
No, they're driving in it now. So they didn't deny that, you know, they were not. They were. Again, their word that they did that they had. fixed.
I mean. I think that bothers me is when people don't show up. You know, for, if it's not worth $50 for you to show up, then I guess you have $50, so. Either table and give them a chance to come, or I would just deny it. Or make, or not deny, but go forward with the fine.
For what it's worth, and then I have other people tell me the same thing, and I told them no. And but this person wanted to push it further. I said this would be the next step was to meet with this board. Others have not asked for that request, so.
Okay.
they didn't get it for them.
Yeah, I would say the fifth bill. Other stuff. What do you think?
Yeah. You know, I know. You can think you make a change in a system and not actually make the change. I understand that. They did get a fine. They got a warning, they got a fine. They want a second warning. Who didn't have time?
So they got 2 fines, is that that's.
No, they got
You got 2
one
notices.
warning.
Oh, so they got the
The
warning,
warning notice.
they said they shut it off, then they hadn't been shut off apparently, and then they got the fine. I'll give them the fine.
You want to make a motion to deny? Or do you want
Yeah,
to
so
table
did
it?
they, I don't mind, I don't deny it.
Okay.
Did they, what was the official request, which is to meet with the board?
It was, I talked to them, they said I told them, you know, my suggestion is no, you know, you have to pay the fine, and so I want to go to the next step. Like I said, well, let's be, you know, having the board discuss it. And that's where I left it with it, and that's only has to put something in writing, so that you could review their words and not my words.
Fair enough. So I guess their words. to be specific.
In the stage, further up.
Okay, so they want to contest the fine, I would say. Say in good language, no. That we deny their contest and move forward with the fine.
Yeah, there is another avenue, I mean, on the ticket, there is a, you know, a legal process they could follow, to contest if they wanted to.
Okay, but I mean, as far as that goes, they use the water, we're supposed to use the water. So I think that, and I don't think they're not gonna show up for $50 now, they're not gonna. take
What's their day of,
Number 9, that would be
Monday.
Monday.
they used it on Tuesday, which is the 22nd, which is a Wednesday,
22, 24, and 25.
on Friday, 25 and Saturday. I'm just saying, because I was looking at the water restriction down there, and at the bottom it says, let's say Saturday and Sunday are 3 days. Use non-restricted or non-essential water use. At the bottom, there's that.
There's no day, no one in town has Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. The only days that,
Maybe I misread it. Maybe I misread it. I thought it said at the bottom that they use non-essential on Fridays.
no one, there's nobody that has those days, no section of town has those
It's here,
3 days.
that's probably the last line is the one you're talking about.
Oh, okay. No non-essential. Okay. So I thought I read non-essential water use is allowed. I hate to read that.
Double negative.
I was like, I walked by and I said, non-essential water use. It said, okay, on Friday. I said, everybody gets that second day. We spent that whole last meeting arguing about it. All they had to do is do it on Saturday. I'm like, no, okay, I stand corrected. Yeah, do you wanna make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to deny the contest and move forward with charging the fine.
Okay, I second it. All in favor?
John Kane, I.
Dave Messer, I keep forgetting that I'm the guy that's supposed to say that.
Got the big C.
All right, we'll go back to any new business. That was new business, any more new business?
Yeah, actually, you know, I just realizing now, so in your packet, there is some lengthy emails between myself and Carol Bodeker and Dwayne Levangie. So if you remember, Ms. Bodeker was at our last meeting and had some questions. John, you were up there. But she had some questions about the water permit, you know, and particular why Southwick and not other communities have to abide by that. So at that meeting, I told her that my contact at Mass DEP, Dwayne Levangie, was available to answer some questions. He told me I could pass along his contact information. So I did that to Ms. Bodeker and the others that were at the meeting. Mr. Brown was also at the meeting last week, that last meeting. So I passed along his contact information to them, and so Ms. Bodeker had some correspondence with him and copied me on there, so I thought it was fair to share that with you. But then you need to read it now if you don't want
Yeah.
to, but I just want to make sure you put it.
I'm gonna take this with me if I can, and this is the original.
There were two email trains that I copied.
Yeah.
One was between me and her, the other was between her and.
I know I skimmed the other one last time, but didn't really get to read it, so I'm gonna take it and read it. Anything else? Come before the board. Okay, here, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second. John Kane. All in favor?
John Kane, yes.
Dave Messer, yes.